Omni Edition Sports presents from Lighted Field in Garden City, Cougar softball. This afternoon, the Garden City Cougars take on the Romulus Eagles. Hi, everybody. This is Dan York along with Ted Fournier. And Ted, the story this season for every team in the state of Michigan and throughout the Midwest has been the weather. A perfect day, though, for this one.
The season that almost wasn't. I mean, it's rained. A lot of these teams have had 12 to 15 games scheduled and have single digits. I know some teams have played 4 games so far because the fields are wet and they don't drain and it's just rain. But, you know, the weather is beautiful here. And the question I have right away is who shrunk the field, Dan?
For those of you that haven't seen it, Lighted Field has been adjusted for the girls softball team here at Garden City High School. Long-time shared field between the city and the school district for the men's softball league, but the fences have now been brought into the appropriate distances, and the infield has been shortened. A brand new infield brought in. As a matter of fact, the folks that installed in this infield, the same folks that put the infield in at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, and that's one of the reasons we weren't here on Monday for the broadcast, because it rained so much on Sunday that this field just had too much water on it, even though it was a nice day with temperatures in the 70s, and eventually the sun came out. They weren't able to play on Monday, so we're here on a Thursday for this makeup game with the Romulus Eagles. Now, the Western Wayne Athletic Conference has been readjusted. With the addition of Clarenceville and Inkster, they were added for the spring season, so we've made changes in mid-year, if you will. Garden City and Romulus both in the blue division, and that is considered the upper division in the Western Wayne Athletic Conference.
You know, and Coach Barry Patterson, longtime coach here, is really happy with that, because what it's done is it's put Garden City playing the tougher schools in the conference. And his team, he likes victories. Now, I'm not taking, he's got, what, over 400 right now?
He has over 600
over
victories.
600. I'm sorry for getting 200 out of there. But he's really excited to play upper echelon competition on a day-to-day basis. Over the past few years, they've been playing really tough competition on the weekends, and when they were playing league games, they were 2-3 inning affairs because the teams were just not up to the same quality that the Garden City Cougars were over the past 2-3 years.
And there you see the Garden City dugout. That's Al Russell, the assistant coach for this Garden City team, and Barry Patterson, as we talk about, the veteran coach of this squad, started coaching in 1987, and we'll have more information about that a little bit later on. They're going to have the meeting at home plate now with the managers and the umpires as they exchange lineup cards for this game. Again, a beautiful day. You can hear a little bit of a breeze has kicked up for this one. But spectacular conditions for today's game. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Romulus Eagles, and they are coached by Jen Slyman, who has been coaching 13 years in Romulus. Leading off and pitching will be Gabriela Makita. Batting second, the center fielder, number 12, Brooke Walden. Hitting third and playing a shortstop, number 16, Gabby Bryant. Batting fourth and catching, number 22, Chelsea Shellman. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 11, Elena Wilson. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 17, Megan Dotson. Hitting sixth and playing second base, number 6, Krista Wilkowitz. Batting eighth and playing left field, number 21, Jetty Young. And batting ninth and playing right field, number 3, Deja Arrington. And you see that Romulus not using what they call the designated player, which is in essence a designated hitter. They have only 11 on their roster, so they have 2 on the bench, and the coach doesn't want to risk with that short of a bench putting someone out as the flex player. There are some different rules for softball. You'll see that Garden City has a flex player, and that player will not bat in the lineup. That'll be the pitcher, Gabby Joseph, here today. Also re-entry rules for the pitchers and the catchers, courtesy runners, I guess those are, and all kinds of different little nuances for softball that you wouldn't see, for example, in Major League Baseball, that makes it better and gets more use out of the kids and makes it really a better product for this level of softball.
And just being a little sarcastic, it keeps the manager Barry Patterson awake most of the game because he actually has to make some moves and stuff. And there have been times if you didn't have all these things, he'd be dozing on the corner.
Garden City 3-0 in the Blue Division, 7-2 overall. They had a tournament over the weekend. Romulus is 1-1 in the Blue Division coming into this contest, and the Romulus coach telling me before the game she just kind of wants to finish in the middle of the pack this year in the Blue Division. She's just got a young team, although Garden City with only 2 seniors actually has a pretty young team on paper too.
Well, that's actually the other story here today is the Garden City graduated 10 seniors, and that senior class had a wonderful run. They went deep in the tournaments in June the last 4 years. They made it to Battle Creek a couple times. They won some district and regional championships, and they're all growing. And so even the upperclassmen on this squad today have not played a lot of softball because there were so many people ahead of them. One of the younger players and the stars of the team, Abby Joseph's only a sophomore. She played last year, but everybody else was behind somebody last year. And there's a lot of freshmen on the team, starting freshmen, shortstop. Gabby Joseph, we're going to see her pitching today. She didn't get a lot of innings over the last couple years, and she's a senior. So even the seniors here are relatively new to day-to-day competition.
Julian Pummel, the other senior on this Garden City team, so you might call it a rebuilding year in some respect for Garden City, but a very talented team nonetheless. Garden City making it all the way to the Final Four last year, something they have done 4 different times. They hold the only state championship here at Garden City High School in the athletic department, winning that back in 2008. And Hallie Minch, the starting pitcher on that squad, one of the coaches on this Garden City team.
I was, checking social media over the last couple of weeks. And
Don't you know better than to do that?
A lot of those girls that were on that 2008 teams are graduating from college this year. So,
all right, we're ready to get things started. Makita, the leadoff batter for Romulus. On the mound for Garden City is Gabby Joseph, not to be confused with Abby Joseph. Gabby is 4-1 on the season and an ERA right about 1.54. So we're ready to go here at Garden City High School, and strike one is the opening call from our home plate umpire.
Now, Gabby's not going to overpower you, but her strength is keeping the ball in the strike zone, which is exactly what Coach Patterson wants. No walks and good defense.
There's a swing and a miss by Makita, so an 0-2 count early on Gabriella Makita. Makita hitting .667 coming into the weekend. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball foul down to third base side. As you see, a brand new infield, a shorter infield, a much closer fence of the outfield, about 200 feet it runs.
Well, it used to be last year, if you hit the ball out of the infield, you pretty well had a home run because that's how deep the infield was.
And there's a hopper down the third base line that is foul, picked up by Abby Joseph.
Coach Patterson telling me before the game that if he gets 4 or 5 strikeouts during the game, he's happy. This is not going to be a dominating.
Well, there's strikeout number 1. Let's see if Spellman can get it down there in time. She does, so there's 1 up and 1 away. So that'll go 2-3.
Spellman, the catcher, is a sophomore. Very tough young lady. She very short. We called her Mighty Mouse during basketball. Very short young lady, but tough as nails.
That'll bring up Brooke Walden, the center fielder. Brooke hitting .538.
Second baseman way in. One thing we noticed that the infielders for Garden City are wearing shields and masks. Barry Patterson started this about 5-6 years ago when he had a rash of injuries, and now he goes for safety first.
And there's a foul ball at the plate. Who was the girl that took one off the face? Was it one of the Sasalas?
No, it was Caitlin Shadowroll.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Shadowroll, Caitlin, who wound up pitching playing in college. I'm not sure if she pitched, but she broke her nose, her ankle, and her knee all within like 1 year.
Rough career.
I think that was the straw that put the mask on.
Right.
She got hit in the face, and that was it.
That one's popped up foul and out of play.
You know, I mentioned at the first batter that Gabby Joseph keeps the ball around the plate. I'm not sure she threw a ball yet, did she?
I think she's missed once.
She has been around the plate with every pitch, and they haven't timed it yet, but she's been there.
This one's popped up down the third base line. The shortstop calls for it and drops it. That was a foul ball. Woo. Glenfield called off Joseph, and then she lost it. And luckily it was contact in foul territory.
Still have to give her an error.
That is correct.
She's a freshman. Tough position to play when you're a freshman at shortstop at this level.
Strike three called.
That ball dropped over on the inside corner, and Coach was telling me not a lot of strikeouts, but the first two batters have whiffed.
That was a little bit of a delay from our home plate umpire. We weren't able to get the umpires' names. They rolled in just about 5 minutes before the game started, and that's a called strike on Gabby Bryant, the starting shortstop for Romulus.
There's a ball low. Gabby Joseph is doing what Coach Patterson said, pitch to contact. He likes to really manipulate this team, and he likes to, there's outside.
So 2 down, top of the first inning here at Garden City High School. Very glad you've joined us here on Omni Edition Television, GCTV, and there's a swing and a miss on the changeup. So 2 balls and 2 strikes on Bryant. Chelsea Shellman, the catcher, on deck for the Eagles. That one's outside. Tried to get her to chase.
Full count.
Infield back now. Outfield backed up 2.
Now, all Coach wants to do is throw this across the plate and make her hit her. And
strike 3. Got the high strike called, and Gabby Joseph strikes out the side here in the first for Garden City. So for the Eagles, nothing across. We go to the bottom of the first inning. No score. So impressive first inning from Gabby Joseph.
Well, a lot of times you talk to the coach and they give you information and you find out he doesn't know anything about his team, you know.
All right, let's take a look at the starters now for the Garden City Cougars. Coached by Barry Patterson, leading off and playing left field will be Rachel Bomarito. Batting a second, the second baseman, number 12, Caitlin McIntosh. Hitting third and playing third base, Abby Joseph. Batting fourth, the shortstop, Kaylin Glenfield. Hitting fifth and playing first base, Kelsey Powell. Batting sixth and playing right field, Gabriela Quintada. Batting seventh, the designated player, number 10, Hannah Vera Burgos. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 11, Julene Pummel. And batting ninth, I think I said batting seventh, but batting eighth was Pummel, and batting ninth, the catcher, number 14, Rachel Spellman, and Gabby Joseph, the pitcher, is the flex player, if you will.
And the flex doesn't bat, right?
The flex does not bat. It's essentially the designated hitter with some slight modifications. So on the mound there is Makita for Romulus.
Well, I noticed one of the big changes here at Lighted Diamond is the home team has moved to the first base side. Ostensibly because first base coach Al Russell didn't want to walk all the way down there, so they moved the dugout closer for him. So.
Yeah, and the bathroom's closer for him too this way. Yeah, you know it's funny, in most major league stadiums the home team is on the first base side, and the reason being it's a shorter walk from first base when you're making out, and you don't have to go across the infield. But the Tigers have always been on the third base side, so
right.
most of the teams in Michigan are on the third base side.
Those darn Tigers, they influence everything.
So Bomarito, the batter, she's hitting .533. She looks at one up high. By the way, Bomarito, the first game with the fences here at Lighted Field, hit a home run over the fence.
Second pitch, and one thing Coach Patterson is she started tearing around the bases, and all of a sudden, after she got past second, she realized she could go into a home run trot.
That one's outside. If you ever saw this field before, the fence was about 100 feet deeper. The infield was about 100 feet deeper. And the outfielders would be playing on the dirt of the infield. If you look very closely at the center fielder, you can see the grass changes texture out there. Well, that's where the new grass was planted from her on in. And then from her on out is the old grass. And then almost at the height of the fence is where the old warning track was before. There's a big swing and a miss by Bomarito. She got the changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Check it, 3 balls and 2 strikes, I believe. This one's popped up into the infield. The shortstop, Bryant, chasing it back. The left fielder, Young, comes in and makes the play, and there's 1 up and 1 away. And they'll bring up Caitlin McIntosh.
You know, the lineup here for Garden City is they're all hitting well, but they're all about 200 points less than last year's lineup. I mean, we had some bangers last year.
Well, McIntosh hitting .591, so she's survived a little bit.
Well, I remember Sasala leading off around 780 or some ungodly number like that, and now hitting close to that over at the University of Michigan.
Here's a fly ball down the first base side. The first baseman wrangles it in. That's Dotson, and there's 2 away. So 2 quick outs for Makita.
Not really driven. Each ball, it's just popped up meekly.
So that'll bring up Abby Joseph, a sophomore, third baseman, batting .368. 2 down. Bottom of the first inning at Lighted Field. The rock and the pitch, and this one's hit foul, and I bet it's going to get our trailer, or darn close.
You know, one of the reasons I came out here today was to see this young lady plaster one over the fence, so I'll be disappointed. I don't want to put pressure on her. She is quite an athlete.
Makita pitches up high.
Change of pace. You're going to see these pitchers with fastballs, with drop balls, with change of paces. I think the coach Minch over there had 6 or 7 pitches.
This one is fouled over the backstop. One of the changes that Coach Patterson hopes to make in the upcoming years is to move the backstop up a little bit. That's why they moved home plate up this year, go with built-in dugouts. Fence the field in all the way down the lines. Make some continual improvements on this field. Here's the pitch. Popped up foul, out of play, same place.
This field is a work in action, and to tell you how it's going to get done, they are fundraising, doing community fundraisers. The parents and everybody have been working hard all winter, and they're going to do every improvement as they raise the money. It's going to be a $50,000 project when it's all done, and it's all going to be fundraised, and they're doing a wonderful job.
Popped up on the infield. The pitcher calls for it, Makita. She makes the basket catch, and the side is retired. So nothing across for Garden City. We go to the top of the second inning with no score. Yeah, they've held some a comedy show with Kramus over at
Kevin Kramus doing a wonderful job.
I do believe they received some money from Garden City Hospital, a grant from Garden City Hospital.
You know, I don't want to beg, but if you're listening to this and you can come up with a way to raise a few bucks to help them, they would be.
They'll take it.
Oh, definitely. And I'd like to see all the corporate sponsors throw some signs up there and get this field done, because these girls, and I'm not talking just this class, because there are ladies that played in this program in the late 80s and the early 90s that are now approaching 35 and 40, that represented this community very well across the state. And you know what? Barry Patterson's teams have always been classy teams. They've always, whenever they leave a tournament, people are saying what a great team, a classy team they are. And like you said, they've been to the state finals in the final tournament 4 times representing this community, and they deserve a great home to play in.
So that'll bring up Chelsea Shellman, the catcher, and she hits one right back to Joseph. She'll underhand it over to first base. She took her time, that's for sure. And there's one up and one away.
You know, it always amazes me that throw to home is easy, but that throw to first base, it's a killer, you know.
I bet Barry was anxious for a moment there.
She has thrown at least 200 pitches already today because she was warming up for a half an hour before the game. And that throw, it's like it's a different direction, Coach.
That'll bring up Elena Wilson, number 11. She hits a ground ball to the first baseman. And Powell steps on the bag for the second out.
And this inning, you're getting an example of pitching to contact. And I think Coach is really excited about coaching this team because it's not overpowering offensively and it's not overpowering, with the pitching. So basically, the things he likes, good defense, pitching across the plate, and, playing the game. He's really having fun coaching this team.
So Megan Dotson, the batter, number 17, the first baseman, a right-hander, batting .294. And she looks at one down low. So 2 down, top of the second here at Garden City High School. Dan York along with Ted Fournier, Omni Edition Sports. GCTV, as you see a swing and a miss by Dotson. Krista Wilkowitz on deck. Perfect day for baseball. And there's a ground ball back to the pitcher. So 3 ground ball outs. That one had a little arc on it. And 2 assists for Joseph in the inning. So nothing across for the Eagles. We go to the bottom of the second. Still no score here at Garden City High School.
Ball hasn't got past the pitcher yet, so.
No, it has not. Did we build weather, or can I talk about it without this stuff? Okay. So as we said, just a beautiful, beautiful sky. Some milky clouds, 76 degrees at game time for this one. That is just ideal.
This is the kind of game where Ernest T. Banks would have stepped out of the dugout and said, let's play 2.
And, it's funny. I was talking to the Romulus coach about that. Most conferences play doubleheaders in conference.
Right.
And I'm kind of surprised that through all of the incarnations of the Western Wayne Athletic Conference and the Mega Conference and even going back to the Northwest Suburban League, they've never played doubleheaders in conference. And I think the time may be there for that because of the nature of the game, the pitchers. It's not as much strain on their arms. They'll go to a tournament, pitch 5 games.
I know the KLAA league, my son coaches in baseball, they play doubleheaders usually on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Yeah, so, I mean, really, it's probably a benefit. So, leading off for Garden City will be Glenfield. It'll be Glenfield, Powell, and Quintana. 4, 5, and 6 for the Cougars. Here's a fly ball to center field. And that's gone. Wow. So Glenfield takes her deep. The center fielder thought she had a shot at that. I was watching Walden. Had no idea that ball had a chance of getting out of here. And Glenfield with her first home run of the season.
And you called that, you know what? That ball was not blistered off the bat. It came off the top of the bat, and I think you were thinking lazy fly ball to center field, and that just kept carrying.
I'm a little concerned where I parked my truck for the center field camera now.
I just want to announce another fundraiser
to replace Dan's truck.
For insurance.
So Kelsey Powell bat now for Garden City. Powell with a couple of runs batted in this season.
Now, that's the difference between last year and the year. That may have been a double last year.
Right. There were no over-the-fence home runs as this one is hit foul down the line. Yeah, there were no over-the-fence home runs. Now, if you look at the field right there, you can see where the grass is. That's where the fence will go eventually. They'll bring it in that close.
Well, like I said, this field is a work in progress, and I hope that you document it And when it's all done, I'm sure you'll be out here for the dedication or whatever they have. And you got to see the plans for this. This place is going to be absolutely a gem.
And all day long, Barry Patterson and Al Russell out here with Barry brought his riding lawnmower from home because the grass was too wet to use the equipment that the school district has. So they cut the grass, dragged the infield themselves. So between them and the parks or the buildings and grounds folks with the school district, this has turned into quite a facility.
Well, you know, you're talking about that as that was a ball low. This is a work of love. This has been in the back of Barry's mind for years, and I'm talking years. I've known Barry probably 16, 17 years, and this has been something he's wanted ever since I've known him. And he doesn't want it for himself, and he wants it for the community, and he wants it for the girls. So it's a work of love, and he's so happy that it's starting to take shape.
Here's the pitch to Powell. And that's inside and a walk on Kelsey Powell. So a home run to lead off the inning for Glenfield. Powell with the walk, and that'll bring up Quintana.
Kelsey, one heck of a competitor. Had the chance to coach her during the winter in basketball, and she just turned out to be just one heck of a very smart player. Very smart.
Very easy first inning. As you see the runner going on the hit and run. Flip over to first base in time, and Powell advances to second base.
And that's Barry ball. That is exactly what Barry Patterson likes to do. He'll play for that one run. He looks at his team, and if they got 4 or 5 extra base hits in a row, he'd be surprised. But
so Hannah Vera Burgos, the batter now. She's the designated player. Hannah, sophomore. And that one's inside from Makita.
Vera Burgos, part of the baseball playing Vera Burgos. How many have we had over here pitching for
They just keep coming. Basketball and baseball. Here's the rock and the pitch. This one's fouled off into the backstop right in front of us.
Hannah representing Garden City last year at the Major League All-Star game.
And the pitch hit and run contest,
That's
right?
And she was
totally
there.
Forgot about that. So Makita comes to the plate. This one has popped up into the infield. The shortstop camps under it, puts it away, and that's the second out of the inning. So Powell will have to stay at second base, and Julene Pummel, the center fielder, will bat now for Garden City, talking about those great Garden City families. The Pummels.
Pummels have contributed their share of athletics.
For 40 years now?
Well, I'm first generation here in Garden City, but I can tell you, her father's the head basketball coach here at Garden City, and her brother's still on the team. Her other brother's assistant coach.
And Dad was point guard at West the last year it was open.
Which we know is best.
There's a ground ball beyond the second baseman. Here comes the runner around third. Powell will score standing up, and Garden City now leads 2-0. So a good job by Pummel to slap it the other way. She picks up the RBI.
That's the kind of season, if you read the game recaps in the paper over the last 3 or 4 weeks, Pummel's been getting a hit here, a key hit there. A couple games she's had 2 hits. So the senior, you always count on your seniors, and there's only 2 of them on this team, and she comes through.
So this is Rachel Spellman, and she looks at strike 1. She's a sophomore catcher batting .250.
She looks taller since basketball season.
You're hoping.
She's coming off of an injury. She hurt her ankle over the Christmas.
Here's a fly ball hit into center field. Walden camps under it, puts it away, and the side is retired, but not before. Garden City picks up 2 runs on a home run by Glenfield and an RBI by Julene Pummel, scoring Powell. And the Garden City now with a 2-0 lead as we head to the 3rd inning.
Well, there's not much you can do with with a home run, but that walk that they gave up right after the home run came back to haunt Romulus as Powell him to score. So they did it the long ball, and they did it little berry ball.
A little bit of berry ball, a little bit of small ball, as it's called. Let's take a look at the starting defense for your Cougars. In left field is Bomarito. In right field is Quintana. In center field is Pummel. In the infield, Abby Joseph at third, Glenfield at short, McIntosh at second, Powell at first, Gabby Joseph, the pitcher, and Spellman behind the plate. And, of course, as you see, the head coach of the Garden City Cougars is Barry Patterson, over 600 wins at the high school level. Also coached the varsity basketball team here for quite some time, gave it up just at the end of the 2 seasons ago. And Michelle Tyree, now the head varsity coach here at Garden City, coaching her first year last year.
I suspect Barry kind of gave that up because he saw an opportunity to do this project. And, and I really think Barry saw that opportunity and he grabbed it. I mean, he's a passionate coach. He absolutely loves coaching, but he, like I told you, this has been in the back of his mind. After talking with the authorities at the school, like, he saw an opportunity to make this happen, and I think that's why he did what he did.
So Wilkowitz, Young, and Arrington. 7, 8, and 9 for Romulus. Here in the third inning, Garden City leads it by a score of 2-0. That one's fouled off. That one might have got our trailer.
Gabby Joseph has been doing a great job. 3 strikeouts, and the other 3 have been ground balls to either first or herself.
It is not Arrington. Not the wrong name I gave. So Wilkowitz, the second baseman. And there's a big swing and a miss. And another strikeout for Joseph. That'll bring up J.D. Young, the left fielder. So 4 strikeouts for Joseph. She struck out the side in the first, and they got 3 weak ground balls in the second.
According to Barry, that's about all he expects now.
The 3 weak ground balls, or
no,
just the 4 strikeouts?
4 strikeouts.
She's done now. Shut it down?
She's done. That's it.
Ground ball, shortstop, second baseman rather, charging. Quick flip, and she needed a quick flip as Young was getting down the line. So there's 2 down as McIntosh flips it to Powell, and that'll bring up Deja Arrington.
Number 9 hitter in the lineup, playing right field.
And she squares to bunt, and Joseph goes outside with the pitch.
Abby Joseph could have probably got behind the plate and caught that ball if she was that close.
Squaring again, and a strike on Arrington.
Abby charging in, Kelsey Powell charging in from first.
Makita on deck. There's a bunt right to the third baseman. Quick throw to first base. Nice job by Abby Joseph. Quick flip to first in time. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left for Romulus. We go to the bottom of the third. Cougars lead it by a score of 2-0. Let's take a look now at the starting defense for the visiting Romulus Eagles, who came into this game 1-1 of the conference, 5-4. Overall, the left fielder for Romulus is J.D. Young. In center field is Walden. In right field is Deja Arrington. On the infield, the third baseman is Elena Wilson. At shortstop is Bryant. At second base is Krista Wilkowitz. The first baseman is Megan Dotson, and behind the plate is Shellman. And on the hill for the Romulus Eagles is Gabriella Makita. And really, there's no hill here, so that was a false representation.
In the circle or on the slab, because I watch a lot of those Southeast Conference softball games.
On ESPN?
On ESPN, that's right.
Well, at least you're not watching like shopping channels.
Why do they all have like 6'2" long blonde hair pitchers?
Because I guess if you're going to go someplace to pitch, You're going to go someplace you know it's going to be warm in March.
I know.
That's a horrible disadvantage that the NCAA teams in the Midwest have, is that those southern and southwest, southeast teams can start so early. And the Michigans of the world have worked it out, but it's tough to build a program in other places. Here's a fly ball down the left field line, and it drops in for a base hit. So Bomarito just drops it inside the foul line.
That was one of those seeing eye singles. I mean, there are a lot of players around it, but it just fell among them.
Young was a little tentative going after it, and that'll bring up Caitlin McIntosh. She's 0 for 1. She squares the bunt. Runner in motion. Throw to first base is not in time. That just took a long while to develop as McIntosh's bunt. This infield has dried out quite a bit this year, and that ball took a pretty big hop on the bunt. So McIntosh, trying to sacrifice herself, ends up on first base, and now Garden City with 2 on and nobody out.
That's one of those rare things, sacrifice hit. You give her a sacrifice because she did, but she beat it out. I think she beat it out because that ball skipped to the first baseman there.
And this is Abby Joseph. She's 0 for 1. So she can help her sister out quite a bit here with 2 ducks on the pond and nobody out.
Well, you wonder if you got your big bomber up there. You want her to bunt here, or let's see what Barry wants her to do.
There's a ground ball to the shortstop. Runner's in motion. The shortstop, it goes off of her wrist into the outfield, and bases are loaded now. I think Bryant might have taken her eye off the ball to look at the runner.
Yeah, she was making a play before she got the ball, so the bases are juiced on the error. That's a second error.
So Glenfield, who hit a home run to start this one off in the second, get Garden City on the board with bases loaded and nobody out. Glenfield with 8 RBIs this season, looks it went up high.
You know, when she got up the first time, I was going to make some comments about a freshman in the shortstop position. She hit the ball out on the first pitch, so she has to learn to take a few pitches so we can talk about her.
Makita rocks and pitches. Fly ball into right field. This one's going to drop. And the right fielder should have flipped it to second base, and 2 runs will score. The right fielder had Joseph dead to rights at second. So Glenfield with 2 RBIs on the Texas Leaguer.
You're giving her 2, 1 and no error, nothing?
Oh, well.
There
was no error.
Error of omission. One of those.
Yeah, there was no error.
That would have to be one of those team things. So.
She handled it cleanly and just chose to lob it into the second baseman.
You can tell us old timers. We like.
Yeah, I'm broken down now, Ted. It's all offense.
Are you a new guy, or are you Saber mathematician there?
I'm not so into sabermetrics.
Well, I watch Moneyball every time it's on TV. So.
I do too, but I just like the pretty boy in it. So that'll bring up Kelsey Powell.
I think we can edit that out.
I couldn't think of his name. Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
There's a bunt that goes foul. I couldn't think of his name.
We're going to have a talk.
Powell with the walk and a run scored in the second.
There's nobody out here. 2 runs in.
Runner on first base is Glenfield. Runner on second base is Joseph. Here's the rock and the pitch from Makita. Showing the bunt. It's foul, so 2 strikes now on Powell.
Oh, I keep looking out there. What a wonderful day today.
And Powell will be swinging away with 2 strikes. And there's one up high. You may leave the base after the ball gets to the plate. So you can steal a base, but at a very big disadvantage. But you can definitely advance on a pass ball or a wild pitch. That one's down low, almost that wild pitch.
See, I'm not sure Barry's got tremendous speed on the team here. I think he'll be a little more deliberate. You saw him bunting on first pitches here. Is he moving rather than trying to get a stolen base or pass ball? I think very solid players, but we're not talking world-class Olympic speed here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. This one is hit into right field for a base hit. This will move the runners up. Joseph will stay at third base, and Powell, she's been on base twice now with a single and a walk, and bases juiced for Gabriela Quintana.
The second time the bases have been loaded in this inning, and Garden City on the verge of ripping this game wide open with just popping the ball. We're hitting them where they ain't, which is, I guess, the key to the whole sport.
They lead 4-0. And there's a strike called from Makita. Our home plate umpire with a very delayed, deliberate call of a strike.
Little showman in the man in blue behind the plate.
Might be a woman in blue. Here's the rock and the pitch. This one's popped foul. And, you know, the TV truck, which you can't see, is where it is because, well, that's where it got stuck in the mud when we delivered it yesterday. So apparently that wasn't a good place to put it.
I see you're still using great criteria for your management decisions. Wherever it's stuck in the mud.
Trailer was stuck. I had Tiger tickets. Yeah, that's a good place for it right there. That one's in the dirt.
Omni Edition Sports, surviving 30-some years.
Surviving science. Nobody down, 2 on. Here's a ground ball down the third base line. The third baseman makes the play and gets the force at third, but the run will score for Garden City. So Abby Joseph makes it 5-0. Quintana safe at first base on the fielder's choice. And Glenfield is the force out at third.
First out of the inning.
First
that
out
was probably, in this inning, probably the hardest hit ball.
And a good job by Wilson on that ground ball. So that'll bring up Hannah Vera Burgos. She's 0 for 1, batting .500 on the season. That one's in the dirt. Runners move up. The runner going to third, and the third baseman mishandles the throw. So Powell now moves into third base. Quintana moves into scoring position at second.
Pass ball.
So Vera Burgos with ducks on the pond, 5-0 Garden City. This one's ripped foul down the left field line. Heard her dad roar from the stands when she turned on that one. His kids are way better athletes than he was in high school. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Director, can you put voice of Dan York on?
Powell, the runner at third base. Vera Burgos. Rips one into the outfield, and the center fielder there to make the play. And the run will count as we're going to get a force out at second base. That should end the inning. Let's make sure we've got this all straight. So the center fielder made the play for the second out.
How'd we get
Powell tagged up and scored. Quintana got caught off the bag at second base for the third out of the inning, but the run did score. So 6 runs on the docket for Garden City and a 6-0 lead as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Now, Ted, something for you to complain about as always. KFC on the corner of Ford Road and Harrison. They provide food services for Omni Edition television with bones, without bones. They've got everything now. They've got all those new sides, all those new chicken varieties. They've got crispy, extra crispy, original, whatever you want to call it. And then, like we said, without bones now available at KFC. Dan and Paul Bogowski, Garden City guys, West guys, by the way, that I mentioned that. And they're the owners of that, so stop in And support a Garden City business, KFC, located on the Ford Road and Harrison Corner here in Garden City. And our thanks to them for supporting Omni Edition Television and GCTV.
Unlike all the other members of the crew, I buy chicken.
So an RBI, by the way, for Vera Burgos. And 4 runs.
Well, she ripped that ball. We've had that home run, but I think that ball was hit harder than the home run.
Oh, absolutely. And really, the center fielder, had she not been in the right place at the right time, probably wouldn't have had a chance. That would have went all the way to the wall. So Makita, the leadoff hitter, she rips one into the outfield that'll drop in for a base hit. Left fielder has trouble with it, but Makita will check in at first base with a single.
First hit of the game off of Gabby Joseph. She struck out her first at bat, and that time she just went up there swinging.
Now here is your courtesy runner for Makita. And now I get to dig into, I have about 45 sheets of paper held down with phones, tablets, rocks. So,
folks, I want to tell you, Dan York always comes to these games filled with statistics and facts.
Filled with something.
I have announced games for 20 years and never had a statistic or a fact, so I just want you to...
Rubier, the courtesy runner at first base here, and she will go to second base here on the top of the 4th inning.
Pass ball. Garden City, they're not in danger of giving up a run yet, but they have to settle down. They scored 4 runs, and this is an important inning. You score the runs, you go to the dugout without giving up any runs.
And there's a swing and a miss.
I worked it into the announcing, but you didn't hear. It's got to be the top of the inning if Romulus is dead.
So Walden, who struck out, trying to drive in Makita's courtesy runner from second base, Rubier. So 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now this is a situation when you have an overpowering pitcher that you hope she throws a strikeout. Now Garden City, on pitching to contact, needs great defense to keep this run from scoring.
Good job by the catcher to keep it in front of her.
Little Rachel.
Spellman, the catcher for Garden City. Shellman, the catcher for Romulus.
I'll take Spellman because she can hit 3-pointers.
Here's one hit deep down the line in right field, but it's foul. So Walden got all of that one.
What they have done is they realize that Gabby Joseph isn't going to overpower him, and they're starting to make contact.
Gabby Bryant on deck. Walden, the center fielder, up there. Full count. Here's the pitch.
Oh.
Strike 3. She rung her up looking. Great location for Joseph. Almost an unhittable pitch.
That was one of those pitches you usually get from a crafty left-hander that you can hit, but it's just in a spot you can't get to it.
So Bryant looks at strike 1. Bryant with a strikeout in the first. Cougars and the Eagles here at Lighted Field in Garden City. Omni Edition Sports. Swing and a miss. Perfect spring day. You see the runner at second base. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was unfair.
Spellman sets up on the outside corner, and Gabby just hits her glove for a called strikeout.
So that'll bring up Shellman, the catcher.
Sometimes if the ball hits the catcher's glove, it doesn't matter where the catcher's glove is. The umpire's going to give it to you.
And there's a called strike. Rubier still at second base. Fouled off at the plate. Might have caught the umpire.
Ball low.
What do you mean you've lost it? there's no batteries running from the CCU.
Catcher keeps it in front of her.
Good job by Rachel.
Here's the pitch. That one is just wasted foul down the first base side.
That was hit right off the edge of the bat. Almost didn't get to it.
It's not battery, so there's no reason for it to be gone. Just turn the CCU off and on.
Here's a rock in the pitch. Back to the pitcher. It's going to be a tough play. Throw to first base is not in time. So Makita will advance to third on the swinging bunt by Shellman.
That's exactly what that was. So 2 hits in this inning. A seeing eye single that dropped in front of the left fielder, and then this meekly hit ball. He hit that ball probably 15 feet in front of the bag.
And there's a strike called on Elena Wilson. So 2 down, 2 on. Here in the fourth is Romulus trying to get on the scoreboard. Down deep, runner going. Throw down to second base, not in time. Throw back to the plate is in time, and gunned at home plate is Makita. And that is exactly what Barry Patterson wanted there. That throw down to the shortstop was not intended to get the runner. That was a decoy. The shortstop used to come in closer on that play, but that throw went all the way through, and they gunned down Makita at the plate. Nice job by Garden City.
Scoring at home, that went 2-6-2.
So Wilson will lead off the next inning, and Garden City keeps Romulus off the scoreboard. And I'm not sure.
2 hits in the inning, 1 left on base. There was
I don't know what's going on here because Romulus has kept their runner on third. They have a batter like she's ready to hit. And I don't know what's going on. She was out by a mile. So the umpire in the infield, for no understandable reason, overruled the home plate umpire. Well, that's just idiotic. She was out by a mile and a half.
I don't even know if she ever hit the plate.
And the umpire, she still hasn't hit the plate. And the umpire in the infield overruled her. Wow.
She didn't make it past the batter's box. She was out at the batter's box.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I don't think
there's no way to spin this. That was just plain stupid. The umpire at home plate with a completely perfect view of that play, and the umpire 60 feet away decides she's going to make the call. Well, I'll tell you what. That's just horrible. For kids that are out here playing for free that are not getting paid to have the umpire screw the game up like that, that's horrible.
The WWAC commissioner doesn't find commentators, do they?
Well, go ahead. Try. That's idiotic. I'll tell you what. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen in 30 years of doing this.
I don't think she's hit home plate yet. Because she was out. She got up and went to the dugouts. I'm not sure she had home plate.
That's inexcusable. So the run scores for Romulus. Count Makita as a run scored, even though she still hasn't touched the plate yet.
I'd go to the dugout and tag her out. I'd go, call timeout, walk over to the dugout and tag her out.
And now the pitch that was called a strike the entire game is called a ball.
Well, what you got now is you got an intimidated. The umpire behind the plate's intimidated. You're going to see indecision.
She's not the one that blew the call. And this one's going to cost Garden City another run. So credit the umpire in the infield with 2 runs scored. And Shellman will come home to score. Wilson safe at first on the single. She'll get the RBI. And Dotson will bat.
I don't see how the umpire and I've umpired and I've umpired on this field. I don't see how the infield umpire has got control of the game.
She's the captain. I mean, you don't necessarily you know, there's a crew chief, as this one is hit to the first baseman for the 4th out of the inning. So Romulus will pick up 2 runs after the infield umpire overruled. And we've got a replay from the truck, I guess. We were not set up for replay. Let's see how this plays out. Now let's roll it back and run it. Just run it again live, Gibby, because we're short here today, folks, so we'll take what we get. Here's the throw. Here's the play. She's out twice. I mean, there's no way to spin that. So she's out every single time. And that's just a horrible, horrible job by an umpire wanting to inject herself into the game.
I'm not sure. I think there's a little-known rule. It's a May 3rd rule. If the temperature's above 50 and below 70, you get 1 mulligan during the game. So
well,
I think that's
the umpire gets a mulligan? Yeah, there's just no way to spin that. She's the only person in the place that thought that girl was safe. So it'll be Pummel, Spellman, and Joseph batting. Nope, let's check that. Pummel, Spellman, and Bomarito, as Joseph is the pitcher who is not hitting for Garden City. They lead it 6-2. Nice job, by the way, in the truck of getting that replay. We were very, very short-staffed today, so replay was one of those things we weren't going to have.
Did you get camera 4 back?
And here's a base hit into the outfield.
You probably should maybe send somebody to do that instead of expand, to be honest with you. I mean, there's no reason not to have it. It can't fail. It's pass-fail. Oh, the connector. Have somebody come out and check the connector. Where the orange things are. Somebody must have tripped on it.
Rachel Spellman flied out to center field her first time at bat. She's the catcher.
And she lays down a nice bunt. Pitcher will go quickly to first base, and the sacrifice works for the Cougars. You know, and you don't want to, as you see Makita go back to the mound, and you don't want to discredit Romulus. Don't interpret my reaction as they didn't deserve the score. That's not it. It's that a grown-up should know better than to inject herself into a situation she doesn't belong in. And there's a strike called on the outside corner on Bomarito. She's 1 for 2, the left fielder. That one just misses on the outside corner. Nice pitch from Makita right there.
Third baseman's very deep. Usually with these left-handed slap hitters, you'll get that third baseman almost at the end of the bat.
Yeah, she's even with the bag. Here's one ripped foul down the first base line. Bomarito batting .533 coming into this game with 6 RBIs.
Got to get those 2 back just to even out this game here.
And the third baseman can't handle it. Good effort, and everybody's going to be safe. So third baseman fully extended for that one. Couldn't pull it in. This will be a base hit for Bomarito. 2 hits for her. And runners on the corners with 1 out, and Caitlin McIntosh, the batter. McIntosh with a single, 1 for 2. Batting a cool .591 coming into this one. And that one's inside, and without a throw, the runner will meander to second base. Bomarito was pretty certain she wasn't going to draw a throw, huh?
Just a little walk down to second base.
Just a little stroll. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, third baseman handles it in.
He called it fair.
Okie dokie.
Called that fair. Said she touched it and her momentum took her out in foul territory.
All right, well, we'll give the umpires the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's our makeup for the afternoon. So a run scores on that one, Pummel. And runners at first and third now. Bomarito at third, McIntosh at first, and that'll bring up Abby Joseph. I guess she could have touched that in fair territory. There's one ripped right through the box for a base hit. Bomarito will score. McIntosh will go to second. Joseph with an RBI single. And Garden City gets their 2 runs back.
RBI for Big Mac and Abby.
Still only 1 out. That'll bring up Glenfield. She hit a home run to dead center her first time up. And she hits one sharply to the shortstop. Long throw across the infield. And that was in time.
Nice play, nice play.
So the runners advance. So runners at second and third. Good job by Bryant. And Kelsey Powell will be the batter. She scored twice.
Opportunity for 2 RBIs here.
That one's ripped. Oh, the first baseman. What a play by Dotson. That ball found her, but what a play by Dotson. So Powell rips it for the 3rd out of the inning. But Garden City picks up 2 more runs on 4 hits. And they now lead it by a score of 8-2.
I was just wondering out loud here, and I may be totally wrong, but I was wondering if Youngberry would have been a little more vehement after that call. He has settled down. Beautiful day here at Lighted Diamond. Gabby Joseph on the mound. They have put up a spot for honey baked ham, which I cannot read from my seat, so read the very important information on your screen about honey baked ham, and I fully support honey baked ham's effort to keep this crew fed. You might want to put that up in another inning when somebody can read it.
I just readjusted that cable. Did that fix it?
So there's the first pitch of the 5th inning. This one cruising by. This is Wilkowitz.
Kind of a lazy swing at that first pitch. That one is low.
Wilkowitz, the second baseman.
Well, if we're not going to get it back, I guess bring them back to help you. But there's really nothing to do.
Outside.
So 2 balls and a strike on Wilkowitz. She's 0 for 1. That one's inside, 3-1. So Gabby Joseph in danger of walking the leadoff hitter.
You know, I don't want to suggest or design this, but the Garden City Garden Club has.
There's a ground ball to second base. McIntosh with a big hop. Fires it over to first base in time, and there's 1 up and 1 away.
Very solid play at second base. But I can see on the berm in center field, in flowers, Garden City Cougars cut into the berm, which just to beautify the whole, give it that park atmosphere.
Well, you want to head over to Barson's after this and buy the flowers?
Mr. Barson, a great supporter of Garden City activities, and I'm sure.
Now you're trying to get free plants out of him, right?
If we put his name really small on the bottom.
Right under, this was Ted's idea?
I'm begging.
So this is J.D. Young, the batter. She swings and misses on the changeup. Young 0 for 1. So the 5th inning, and Romulus just getting around to the second at-bat for the bottom of the order. And Young looks at that one for a ball.
Little floater, change of pace. No trouble with the batting bottom of the order here for Gabby.
And there's a ground ball right back to the pitcher. She struggles with it for second, throws it high, and the runner at first base is safe. So Powell pulled off the bag. And an error on the second baseman.
See, now that's what Coach Patterson doesn't like. I mean, that was an out, and he does not want to give. This is a team that can't afford to give the other team 4 outs.
And that one is bunted foul by Deja Arrington, the right fielder. So the runner at first base is Young.
So let's see if Gabby can go to the whip here and strike somebody out here.
That one is bunted foul, so 0-2 now on Arrington. So we'll have to see if she tries to bunt 3 times. Probably not. There's a ground ball that the pitcher handles herself. There's that little lob to first base and plenty of time, and Arrington is out.
Well, there you saw the key to that play. The previous play on the error, she threw it overhand. That play, she had a little underhand toss, and she's got the underhand thing down. It's the overhand.
So that'll bring up the top of the order, and Gabriella Makita, the pitcher for this Romulus team, and she looks at a strike.
Gabriella got the first hit off of Gabby Joseph, her last at bat.
There's a ground ball. Shortstop has it come up on her. Quick throw across, and in time for the Cougars. Thought Makita might beat that one out. Glenfield found the handle on it just in time.
Well, if you watch the first base coach, he was calling her safe all the way down the line, but the umpire didn't look at her this time. Look at him this time.
So for Garden City, after this one, they will have several road games, and of course that doesn't take into account whatever makeup games that I'm not aware of with all of the rain outs and cold outs and snow outs and everything else outs.
Well, they're almost to the point where you got to play every day because there's been so many games rained out.
Right, because you've got to be done by the end of this month for districts. So
districts are the first week. You'll see. I think the pre-districts are actually, if I'm not mistaken, the Tuesday after Memorial Day, because I think aren't the districts on the
June 1st. But
June 1st.
I saw something in the athletic director's office. I actually don't think there's a pre-district in this district, or if there is one, we're not in it.
Is Garden City in the Stevenson?
The Franklin?
Franklin? No, they're at Stevenson this year.
Okay. All right. I knew it was Livonia.
I think it's Thurston, Garden City, and the Livonias. Redford Union might be in there.
Did we make a district CG or not? Okay, I saw something somewhere. I didn't know if we made it.
Garden City, has a great chance. I mean, Livonia programs are usually solid, but I think they've already played Franklin and beat Franklin.
So that'll be Quintana, Vera Burgos, and Pummel. And here's one hit into the outfield that the left fielder comes in. That's Young and makes the play on Quintana. So one up and one away, and that'll bring up Vera Burgos. She had an RBI on the line out. She had a bullet to Walden in center, which scored Powell back in the third. And she looks at ball one.
That ball floats up there high.
Here's the rock and the pitch. Inside, 2-0 on Vera Burgos. Pummel next. And then Spellman. Strike. High in the strike zone. Vera Burgos batting .500 coming into the game. This one's popped up into the infield. The second baseman, Wilkowitz, calls for it and makes the play on the grass. She had a little trouble with it.
Made it look like an adventure.
Well, the wind is blowing, I think, in from left.
Pummel's had 2 hits today.
She has, and an RBI and a run scored. And a strike. Two down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And there's one through the middle for a base hit. So a 3-hit day for Julian Pummel. And I went to my handy-dandy app, and I am wrong. The wind is blowing out.
You know, Pommel's making serious statement here about moving up in the order. She came into the game hitting 600, and she's got 3 hits today, so she's got to be approaching 602, 603.
You're an amazing statistician.
I was inaccurate way before the abacus.
And that'll bring up Rachel Spellman. She had a sacrifice. This one is fouled out of play right behind us.
Pommel,
you see the runner at first base is Pommel.
Pommel, the tremendous defensive player for the basketball team, and made All-League honors this winter.
And the runner is caught in a rundown now. Pommel hoping to get the ball thrown away. She's stuck. She's going to head back to first base and be tagged out by the catcher. So Pommel picked off in a pickle. And the side is retired. And Spellman then will lead off the 6th inning for Garden City. So nothing across for the Cougars. They had 1 hit.
I think the last person I heard use the word pickle was somewhere with Ernie Harwell.
That's the rundown now, right? It's no longer a pickle.
You better explain what a pickle is.
You don't think anybody knows what that is anymore?
I dare say not. Come on, Rachel, let's catch that. No, that's not Rachel. That's Hannah. Come on, Hannah.
So the Cougars with an 8-2 lead. As we head to the top of the 6th inning, they play 7.
Well, you're not going to do it. A pickle is when the runner is caught between 2 bases and they're trying to get him out by throwing the ball back and forth. And kids used to play that game.
That was a great game.
Well, that was before video games.
It was still a great game. Oh, yeah, let's get into the 2 old guys on cable complain about kids these days. Let's do that.
Well, we got that routine down.
If it wasn't for those video game kids, we wouldn't have any crew. You know, we've talked about Barry Patterson prior to this. And, well, here are some of his accolades. He's been here since 1987. He has the school's only state title, 4 Final Fours, including 1 last year, 8 regional titles, 15 district titles, 12 league titles, and 614 wins. So just an incredible career for Barry Patterson as the head coach of the softball program here at Garden City. And not a teacher. That's one of those things. Normally when you have those coaches that have had those just unbelievable careers, they're normally teachers. And this is a guy that was working at UPS. There's a ground ball into right field for a base hit. And he stayed working at UPS because he could work midnights.
That's why he worked at UPS.
So he could still coach. Because he had a teaching degree. And stayed at UPS so he could still coach. He's retired from there, from that job he wasn't supposed to stay at. As you see the swing and a miss by Bryant.
But if you know Barry, all those accolades, I think he's, whatever he's got them packed away.
There's a line shot through. They could get her at second base. Almost.
Back-to-back hits here.
And hit pretty hard.
But what Barry really likes is the friendships and the lifelong relations he's had with all these young ladies that he's coached. And they come back and they are so happy to see him. There's a
big hopper. Let's see. Second baseman has trouble with it, and everybody's safe. You wonder if McIntosh was thinking double play, trying to come up with that quick and tag the bag and turn around. But she couldn't handle it.
You're just wondering if Barry's going to, how far he's going to ride with Gabby. He's got Rachel Bomarito, who's warmed up before the game.
So bases loaded, nobody down for Romulus, and Wilson now the batter. Elena Wilson, 1 for 2.
Ball low.
And you hear the Garden City bench saying, give up a run for an out right here with an 8-2 lead. Late in the game. Joseph comes to the plate. That one is in the dirt. Here comes the runner, and the catcher had the ball in her hand, but she swiped at her with the mitt. Good move by the catcher. What an aggressive move by Brooke Walden. That ball was right in front of the plate.
I think she took 2 steps and then was committed and had to come, and luckily Spellman couldn't get the handle on the ball.
So runners on first and second now.
Spellman
still nobody out.
got a little equipment malfunction.
You know, when I saw the runner Walden coming, I thought, well, if she can pick it up, she's going to get her. And that one's outside. So Joseph struggling here in the 6th. This one's popped foul out of play over the concession stand. That concession stand just saved whatever car is back there.
Luckily, I parked on Inkster, so.
That one is in the dirt. Which, considering your house is the other direction, is quite a trick.
Well, you know that's a lie. You know I'd never walk that far.
That one's fouled off at the plate.
Garden City playing for an out. No outs this inning. 1 run in already. 2 runners still on base, and they are up by 5.
There's a ground ball that comes up on the third baseman. The shortstop can't handle it. 1 runner scored. Here's a throw to the plate. 2 runs score, and the batter advances to second base. So a hot shot by Wilson that got past the third baseman. Bryant scored. Shellman scored. And Wilson ends up at second.
It's a single and moved up on the throw to home plate. But what's happened here, we still don't have an out. All the runners have scored, and Barry Patterson needs to get one of these out. Is he going to make a switch here?
It's 8-5 right now.
This game was in total control, 6-0, and then we had a controversial play at home plate, which led to 2 runs in the 4th inning for Romulus, which got them on the scoreboard. Garden City got the 2 runs back, had a 6-run lead coming into this inning, but they have 3 runs allowed so far. Runner at second, nobody out, and we have a conference over here.
Yeah, Barry's going to leave her in there. This was more to settle everybody down, I think.
Barry's probably went out there and told the infield, listen, Gabby is getting ground balls. The difference is we need to play some defense. And these balls have not been easy, but
they've taken some pretty nasty hops, and Barry was concerned pregame that the field had gotten awfully hard. They came through and tried to drag it a couple of times today to try to smooth it out. So Dotson the batter. She's 0 for 2 for the day. And there's one outside.
Well, when you have a new field like this, you don't know what the characteristics are going to be. I mean, sometimes they turn into a beach, and sometimes there's cement,
Well, and, the problem with the old field, and the boys still have it, it's actually ground concrete.
Right.
So it just turns to dust and as hard as a rock. This is not supposed to be very hard, as you see a strike called on Dotson, but it is really hardened up. It's Thursday today, and it hasn't rained since Sunday, and that may have a little bit to do with it. And it's finally the first warm spell of the year, as you see strike 2 on Dotson. So a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Dotson, and Joseph could use a strikeout right here.
She's got Dotson on a ground ball to first and a pop up to second. So the bottom of this order, there's only been 1 base runner on the bottom of the order here. This is the 7th hitter.
So full count, and here's a pop-up in the infield. Second baseman and the first baseman converge on it, and the second baseman McIntosh comes up with it, and that's a big out for the Cougars.
First out, runner still at second, and Wilkowitz, who is struck out and grounded out to second, steps in.
And that's a ball high.
That was above the letters and a little outside, so.
Gabby Joseph comes to the plate. And that's a little inside, although I thought that caught the corner.
I think the umpire would have told you it was low. I'm just guessing, though.
Here's the rock and the pitch. There's a ground ball. Shortstop waits for the big hop across the infield in time. Runner going to third base. The throw is not in time, but more importantly, 2 outs for the Cougars.
The runner at third doesn't mean anything right now as we are in the 6th inning.
So Wilson advances the third, and that'll bring up J.D. Young.
The important play there was the out at first, and
a late swing by Young. Young looked a little overmatched on that one, batting only 188 on the season coming into this.
You go right at her. She was safe on a ground ball to the pitcher. She was out on a ground ball to second base. You go at this young lady and end this inning.
And there's a swing and a miss. And Gabby Joseph, able to shut things down. She records 3 consecutive outs after giving up 3 runs. So 3 runs for the Eagles on what I count as 4 hits. Ted may disagree with that. And an 8-5 lead for Garden City, headed into the bottom of the 6th inning here at Lighted Field. Dan York along with the Ted Fournier, Omni Edition Sports. So happy that you've joined us here today on a gorgeous day at Lighted Field. We'd like to thank our friends at Incorporate Graphics, located right across the street from Garden City High School. Jim Neve, a Garden City High School graduate who chose to move his business into Garden City, supplies all of the screen printing needs and embroidery for Omni Edition Sports and GCTV. He's got a huge collection of Garden City Cougar apparel across the street in his showroom. So stop by and check them out or visit their website, incorporategraphics.com. That's incorporategraphics.com. So check out Incorporate right across the street from Garden City High School on Middlebelt Road.
And I tell you, I've got a lot of good-looking Omni Edition swag, but I never wear them to any of the broadcasts.
Yeah. We get Ted to wear this stuff everywhere but here. We get the Grosse Ile stuff today, right?
Yeah, we got Island Fest, May 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd.
Ted, the cable coordinator for Grosse Ile Cable Television.
Stealing Dan's ideas going on 15 years now.
GITV and GCTV, nothing alike.
Really. I think I have a dash in between mine.
That's only because you made a mistake. There's a pitch outside on Rachel Spellman. She was at bat on. She was batting when the third out was made on the bases.
She's got a sacrifice today and flew out to center.
And there's a little looper that the shortstop trapped, and she will not be in time to get Spellman at first. So the shortstop made the only play she could make. The ball came down really quick.
Once the ball hit the ground, Wheel Spellman was saved.
So that'll bring up Bomarito, who is a 2 for 3 today, the left-hander.
Top of the order.
She's a junior. One of the many underclassmen on this Garden City team. She slaps a bunt down. She might beat this out. Flip to first is not in time. What a job by Bomarito.
Well, the third baseman is just not as far in. She was in it a little more than she normally is, but she's just not as far in as most third basemen play with a left-handed slap hitter.
So that'll bring up Caitlin McIntosh. She's 2 for 3.
One of her hits was a sacrifice single.
And she lays down the bunt.
Well, Barry's only got a 3-run lead. He gave up 3 runs, and he's going to play for, he's not going to look for the 3-run Earl Weaver home run here. He's just going to scratch out any run he can get here.
Makita rocks and pitches. Bunt laid down, foul.
Good job by the catcher, Shellman, to get out there and touch that one and hit it. It went foul.
So Barry Patterson now contemplating what to do with 2 strikes on McIntosh. And he takes off the bunt sign, so she'll be swinging away.
Oh, he must be using the same sides from the early 90s?
Talk about going on 30 years. Here's the rock and the pitch. Ground ball to the third baseman. Nice play. She'll get the force and nothing else, but a good job by Wilson at third base to get the force out.
You know, Wilson has played a solid hot corner today. She's made some nice plays over there.
So that'll bring up Abby Joseph, the third baseman for Garden City, batting .368 coming into the game. She's 1 for 3. She was safe on an error in the third. And that drop pitch inside for a ball.
You know, that's a play and at bat that Barry will be talking about today. He probably is just torn up inside that McIntosh didn't get that bunt down.
Here's the rock and the pitch. And a strike called up around the letters.
That floated across the letters.
Umpire helped her out there maybe a little bit, the pitcher. Bottom of the 6th inning. There's another one of those floaters, but that one was inside, so 2 balls and a strike on Abby Joseph.
Barry Patterson wants to get a couple runs and take the momentum away Romulus. Romulus is still going to bat in the top of the 7th and doesn't want to give him any hope.
There's a ground ball to third base under the mitt of Wilson, and another run will score for Garden City. The left fielder has trouble picking it up, and the runners will advance to second and third. So Joseph drives in 1 rather.
She winds up on second on the throw on the misplay in left field.
Did you give her a hit or not, or an error?
You know, she gets a hit, but I think she took second on an error.
So confab at the mound for the
Fournier
Romulus
jinx
infield.
Works again. I just said nice things about the third baseman in the very next play.
So Caitlin Glenfield will be the batter. Freshman who had a home run her first time up.
Well, she needs a single here. She doesn't need a home run. She needs to poke these 2 runs back and tell Romulus you had fun last inning, but it's over.
So 9-5 now. Garden City on top.
So do you push this ball down the first baseline, or what do you do?
Well, I don't know what kind of bat control she has as a freshman, but
she's obviously a player. She's batting fourth and playing shortstop.
they are leaving her a huge gap in left center field, though. There's a strike called. The outfield is just playing straight up. I think I'd be shading a little bit to the left.
Well, I don't
They're
think,
deep.
I don't think Makita's that overpowering, so they're probably saying she can get around on her.
Here's a fly ball hit into center field. Walden looks over her head, and another home run for Glenfield. So Glenfield with a 3-run shot, 2 home runs in the game. And Garden City breaks it back open. 3 RBIs. McIntosh and Joseph score ahead of Glenfield. And Garden City now with a 12-5 lead. And again, part of my problem here is watching the center fielder. I couldn't tell from Walden's reaction whether or not that ball was going to carry to the fence or not.
Well, she's got some pop because I still don't think she's made that solid, contact.
Right, she hasn't made that good contact.
And that ball just flies off of her bat on both home runs. I don't think you or I both thought they were going to go that deep.
Well, that's the Miguel Cabrera thing. Even when he hits it wrong, it goes out. And not that she's hit either one of these wrong, but she has not. They were high pitches that she did not get with a good part of the bat.
All right.
So Kelsey Powell, as a freshman, she's got 2 home runs on balls she didn't get all of. We'll be moving that truck with the camera back farther next game. And there's a strike called on Kelsey Powell. Powell 1 for 2 with a walk. So 4 RBIs and 2 home runs. No, make that 6 RBIs and 2 home runs for Glenfield. She had a single and 2 RBIs in the third.
Well, that's why she's batting fourth.
Yeah. So Makita still out there for the Eagles, and that one's up high. So Garden City, after giving up 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 4th that were questionable, have come back big with 4 here in the 6th.
Powell walked after the home run in the 2nd, and she's looks like she's trying to do the same thing here.
Makita looks into her catcher, Shellman. Here's the pitch. And there's a strike called. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
By the way, folks, that's 2 home runs by the freshman.
There's a hard chopper to the shortstop. And not in time. Powell beats it out.
That's the 3rd time Powell's been on base.
She waited for that big hop, did Bryant. And that cost her. That'll bring up Quintana. Quintana with a messy score sheet today. She had a sacrifice in the 2nd, a fielder's choice in the 3rd, and a fly ball to left field in the 5th. So she needs a safety right here. And she looks at a strike, throw back to first base, goes into the outfield, but the runner will hold as Arrington was right there to pick it up.
Romulus playing some good fundamental softball here.
There's a makeup game here today for Garden City as the Cougars and the Eagles were rained out on Monday. And there's a line shot into the outfield for a base hit. That one stopped just short of the wall. On her horse is Powell, and headed into second is Quintana. So there's that base hit we were looking for Quintana. And that'll bring up Vera Burgos.
Vera Burgos is 0 for 2, but she does have a sacrifice, and she's hit the ball hard.
And we've got a courtesy runner for the right fielder. Or, I don't know if that's a pinch runner or a substitution, but 9 is running now at second base for Garden City, and that's Smolar. Michaela Smolar.
Barry might be emptying his bench here.
And there's a strike on the outside corner on Vera Burgos. So the runner on third is Powell. The runner on second is Smolar. She's there after the hit by Quintana. Here's the rock and the pitch. That one's inside.
4 runs in this inning, and this is the 8th batter of the inning.
And 1 out. So Makita rocks and pitches. Change up high.
Shellman, the catcher, held that so that the umpire might take a second look.
That one's inside. 3 balls and a strike on Vera Burgos. Down low, gets away from her, run will score.
Pass ball.
And well, that was ball 4, so Burgos moves up to second.
And she just kept running. The ball got passed, and she's on second on a walk and a pass ball.
I was taking an inventory of my runners and suddenly wanted to know what was going on. So here's Pummel. She's 3 for 3 and the 9th batter of the inning.
Did you lose camera 7 too? Why don't you tell me? I could have fixed it.
And there's a line shot, another base hit for Pummel. And another RBI.
Pommel's not hitting the fences with him, but she's 4 for 4 today.
So now Spellman will bat for the second time this inning.
She started this whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs in.
All right, so we've got a substitution for Garden City. So is this Lynn number 3? It is. So Allie Lynn will bat for Spellman. She's already batted once this inning, so what the heck.
Allie's taking her cuts, and she's going to take every swing she can, getting herself ready. It's pretty. She was sitting on the bench, and Barry just had to get up there. It's not like she even got to sit in the batter's box.
Allie with only 6 at-bats this season. And she looks at a strike. So the Cougars have batted around. 6 runs scored. Still only 1 out. And there's one through the box for a base hit. So Lynn gets her first single of the season and an RBI.
Is that 15-5? Is that the game?
Oh, goodness. That is the game.
I think that's the end of the game. At the bottom of the inning after 5 and up by 10. And that
snuck up on us.
That's your walk-off single.
There's your walk-off single. So Lynn with the winning RBI hit, and Garden City comes away with a very impressive 15-5 win here at Lighted Field. And Ted, I forgot all about that possibility of a 10-run lead after 5.
That snuck up on us. I mean, after that, the ending of the top of the 6th with 3 runs scored by Romulus, making it a game. And we were hoping to pick up a run or 2 and give a cushion for Gabby Joseph to pitch the 7th. Garden City exploded on Romulus, capped off with that big 3-run home run. And you know what? The game just took Romulus lost control of the game there.
Quick recap, Rachel Bomarito with 3 base hits and 3 runs scored. 2 hits for McIntosh. 2 hits for Joseph, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs for Kaylin Glenfield. 3 runs scored for Powell and a couple of hits. A double for Quintana and a run scored. An RBI for Vera Burgos. 3 hits for Pummel, and a single for Spellman, and a single for Lynn coming in at the end, and that single was the winner for Garden City. So both pitchers go the distance. Gabby Joseph, the winner for Garden City. She increases her record now to 5-1 on the season. Makita, the loser for Romulus, and she'll fall to 3-2 on the campaign. So Garden City now will be on the road. They will travel to Etzel, Annapolis. Actually, Etzel was yesterday, so Annapolis. Then the Stars tournament, and then they'll be at Crestwood and Dearborn before they come home on May 10th for their first night game of the season. That's against Livonia Churchill, and that is a charity fundraiser game. They will have 50-50 raffles. They'll have a silent auction. They'll have all kinds of stuff going on for that game. That is a May 10th game, and that is a 7:30 game against Livonia Churchill, coached by Steve Gentilia, a Garden City grad, and some other Garden City guys on his coaching staff. So that'll be a big game here at Garden City High School on May 10th, so try to make it out for that one. So I want to thank everyone who made this broadcast possible. My special thanks to Spencer Fraunfelter for coming out and helping me set all this up during the day today. My thanks to Christian Gibbons, our director, and my thanks to Ted Fournier. So that's it from Garden City High School. Again, the final. The Cougars with a 15-5 win over Romulus. Thanks very much for watching, and good night, everybody.